he talks with his buddies about moments like this. We're going to help the Yankees out. And truly, like, he feels like his heart's in the right place. He doesn't understand that, you can't interfere with the game.
Here we go. Jesse Rogers joining us right now. Oh, nice. What gate? What gate is that, Jesse? What number?
Oh, sorry. I'm at gate 4, the media entrance. They're about to let us in.
Nice, exactly. Okay, awesome. ESPN.
Make sure you don't have a backpack or any kind of luggage, because if you haven't emailed the Yankee Stadium security force, they will not let you in. So make sure that if you have a backpack or anything, they will not let you in that stadium.
No, they won't. The Dodgers are really tight on security too. I mean, it's LA and New York, but those are probably the two tightest security teams I've been around throughout this postseason, at least. But you can understand why.
Yeah, hey, I respect that. I'm all about security. So on that matter, there was a security issue last night at the game that could have resulted in a broken wrist to end a dude's career. So can you tell us what you covered and what's the latest that you're hearing, not only about this game, but about the future of these two fans, and if there's going to be an example set here?
Yeah, it was very interesting to talk to this guy at 2:30 in the morning at a bar across the street over at Billy's there. I mean, I think he's a lovable meathead. I mean, I think that's the nice version of saying it, right? And I don't want, and I know AJ and I were texting, I don't want to sound like I'm celebrating it at all. I think you can hold two thoughts, that it was like really dumb and stupid and potentially dangerous. Also, watching that slow-mo replay, I mean, I laughed several times. I mean, come on. It was freaking hilarious that someone even attempt to do that. So last night, he was good-natured about it because he said he was kicked out and, they were going to let him back in tonight. But now everybody came to their senses, and the Yankees and Major League Baseball like, no, you're not getting in tonight. You've been banned. I just talked to him. He said if he tries to get in with other seats, other tickets, he'll be arrested on the spot. So he's not going to do that. He's going to watch it across the street. And in terms of his season tickets, these are family tickets. He's hoping they get to keep them. But I think that'll be an off-season question since it's the last game. But I think the biggest headline is that this guy, came prepared for this. He talks with his buddies about moments like this. We're going to help the Yankees out. And truly, he feels like his heart's in the right place. He doesn't understand that, you can't interfere with the game. And so they've talked about this scenario where they will try to knock away a foul ball. I don't know about opening a guy's glove, but he went through with it. And the quotes I got from him, I just think were just amazed. We're ready to D up. We're going to protect this wall. I mean, it's insane stuff. And so part of me is laughing, but part of me obviously knows you can't be doing this kind of stuff.
Okay, Jesse. So I got two questions for you. One, as our resident Cub insider and Cub specialist, what's the difference between these two fools and what Steve Bartman did? Steve Bartman didn't do anything this egregious, and his life is ruined. Yankee fans are celebrating this guy like he's the second coming because they tried to help us win. Steve Bartman just looked up. The ball was about to land on him. Moises Alou got mad. He didn't touch Moises Alou, and his life basically was ruined, as we all know. These two guys are being celebrated and getting drinks bought for him at a bar. What's the difference?
Yeah, I was interviewing him, and people are coming up asking for autographs and pictures. It was pretty crazy. I think the difference is Bartman hurt his home team. These guys were trying to help their home team. So, yeah, Yankee fans don't care that much. Dodger fans might care. They're going to be ticked off. So that's the difference between Bartman and these two fans, helping and hurting your home team.
Okay, and then you compared these guys to Jeffrey Mayer. This is not the same thing. They actively went out of their way to grab Mookie's arm. Jeffrey Mayer, did he break the rules? Yes. Was it a horrible call? Yes. Because imagine if that home run is caught by Tony Tarasco, maybe the Orioles go on a great run like the Yankees did instead. We'll never know. But Jeffrey Mayer just reached over, never touched him, brought the ball over. So, for me, in your article, which I read and we talked about, to compare these guys to Jeffrey Mayer, you got a little stretchy there, Jesse.
Yeah, we mentioned Jeffrey Mayer in the article, but I don't disagree with you that this is the most egregious thing I think I've ever seen, to be honest. I mean, maybe not. We had earlier in the playoffs in San Diego a moment there, but grabbing a guy by his arm and the other guy opening the glove, that's about as egregious as you're going to find. I don't disagree with that at all.
So they had this whole plan, not to necessarily rip Mookie's arm off, but they had the plan to disrupt a fly ball caught. Had their chance. They screwed it up. They totally blew it. And I bet these were the dudes that wanted to boo Aaron Judge the whole time. So did they have a little bit of a feeling like, man, I let my team down? Or were they just high on their horse?
No, I mean, they feel like they helped their team, even though it didn't work. You're right. They're trying to help their team. And look, if they somehow come back and win tonight and maybe the next, like, he's going to start taking victory laps. Like, this was the karma I brought this team. So, um, you know, like I said, kind of a lovable meathead about it. I don't think he understood the ramifications, though, right? Of grabbing a player. I will say, I think he left in a polite manner, and that helped his cause. Like, he didn't argue with anybody. He didn't fight the security guards. That probably helped his cause a little bit. But, there was no way he was getting back in this game tonight, even though he was told last night he would be.
Okay, the last thing for me on this, and I've said my feelings, and you and I have talked, Jesse, already, and we've already talked about this twice now, post game and today. The league has to be proactive on this. That's more important. Yes, thank God nobody got hurt. Thank God that Mookie's fine. But you can't set a precedent where you grab somebody by the arm, you grab a player, and then, oh, by the way, you're welcome back to a standing ovation. Because you know darn well, if those two guys walked into this game in the top of the first inning, the whole right field stands, the whole creatures out there in right field, they're all going to give them a standing ovation, right? So the league, I feel like, did the right thing. You can't set a precedent where it's okay to touch players, where it's okay to run on the field, and it's okay to throw stuff on the field. I mean, only one thing obviously happened in this situation, but I'm all for being proactive to stop this stuff, nip it in the bud.
Yeah, no, I think everybody understands that. I kind of wonder why it wasn't like last night. Look, Eastern time, it's 2 a.m. when all the post-game stuff is happening. So maybe they just wanted to address it today. But like mid-game, they could have put out a statement, this guy's not allowed back in. So I feel like maybe they were a little bit slow on it. Who knows? But the bottom line is they got to it and they're banned. And he's a little worried about his season tickets. These are family season tickets. They're not, I think they might be in his brother's name. And so he's worried about the future. But yeah, you've got to draw that line. I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Let me ask you this. So you talk about season tickets. Like, are you one of those guys that think he should be banned for life and they should never come back to Yankee Stadium?
Oh, banned for life is such an aggressive phrase. I mean,
well, let me explain. I don't think he should be, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know there's some guidelines there. It might be a little ambiguous, like written guidelines from the Yankees, that it might be a little ambiguous about what exactly gets you banned. I mean, in some ways, if it's not that, what exactly? I mean, I guess they didn't jump on the field, but touching players. I mean, it's a foul ball. Interfering with a player in a foul ball, maybe that doesn't get you banned for life. But boy, you definitely got to get that slap on the wrist. So I'm sort of with you. Maybe not for life, but as he put it, a short amount of time. It might be the key is whatever it is. It's got to be a deterrent. So maybe it can't be one game, but it shouldn't be life. It shouldn't be life either. Somewhere in between.
Yeah, also, I just want to be clear. I mean, he's reaching in the field of play and then grabbing the glove and then holding for debate. We had a debate about how many seconds, but holding for multiple seconds. My thing is one game enough? Because I feel as if one game is nothing. And unless someone like that is banned for life, because let's be real, you going for a ball, that's fine. But when you're now holding a player's wrist up like that for multiple seconds, I don't care if you didn't intend to hurt him. You could hurt the player badly, right? You could end a player's career like that. So I'm curious how, say the union and other players wouldn't be talking behind the scenes like, example has to be set here. This is never allowed, or this could be so much worse. You're also influencing tons of kids, most of who are never going to be a big leaguer, to say, oh, well, I know how I can impact the game. I can sit near anywhere that I could make contact with a player and try and screw with him.
Yeah, I mean, this was premeditated. They admitted that. So I think you're on the right page. Like, it's got to be a little bit harsh, but certainly maybe not for life. I mean, this is the last home game of the year, so we'll see how this carries over. I think it's going to be investigated in the off season a little bit more. Not that it needs much investigation, but they admitted that it was somewhat premeditated. So they're going to get slapped down a little bit here, but you just hope it doesn't set an example for other people to do it. And it's the opposite. It sets an example not to do it.
I know what I'm going with it for his Halloween now. That fool that has his sunglasses on at night. It's like, look, it was on the line. Look, I was over the line. Like, I mean, come on. Like, that's going to be the number one Halloween costume in New York. All right, so I got to go. We got to move on from this because otherwise we're going to have too many arguments. And too many differing opinions. But as the resident Chicago ESPN Cub homer, how do you let Scott Merkin scoop you on Will Venable? And how did Scott Merkin scoop you, Jesse? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Scott's good at his job. Passon and I were hearing it before the game yesterday, but we just didn't have it completely nailed, and we're both covering this game. And I actually wrote the story in the second or third inning, and then just saved it until this all went down. So it was all leaking yesterday. Is the point? It was all kind of leaking yesterday, and I was in line to go into the Yankees clubhouse when I had to run back up and file the story. So I don't care about who beat who. I do like Will Venable. I've known him a long time, so maybe I'm a little biased. You get to know someone. But everyone I talk to says he's so smart. He's a good listener. All the qualities you'd want. But look, JJ, you guys all know, you can have all the qualities in the world, but until you're the lead guy and actually doing the job, we have no idea how you're going to be without a resume of managing behind you. So he's got the qualities. Now let's see what he can do with it.
Yeah, we covered it. We did a show on the breaking news last night. I wanted to make sure I pointed out that I was impressed with the fact that Jerry Reinsdorf, because we know he's part of the decision-making, said, let's go outside the organization.
Yeah.
Let's get someone from a winning org who's part of a very fresh, recent winning organization. He's talking to and learning from Chris Young and Bruce Bochy. I mean, that alone, I think, says a lot about where the organization is at. So do you think that we are finally starting to turn a page and not everything has to come within, and the White Sox are accepting that they need to get with the times?
Yeah, I think Chris Getz realized that when he was hiring guys like Josh Barfield from Arizona and bringing in Gene Watson and, guys like that. Granted, Getz is a Sox guy, but the hires he's made has been outside the organization. And the wide net he threw out there for this managerial search, I think, is an indication of some of that as well. You learn stuff from people. You interview Clayton McCullough from the Dodgers, A.J. Ellis from the Padres. These are winning organizations. You can pick up some things. So I think about the Cubs when they hired David Ross. They interviewed Joe Espada. They had no intention of hiring Joe Espada, but they wanted to glean some things from the Houston Astros. So I'm hoping Getz did that for the fans' sake. We'll find out in the presser, what did you learn from all these interviews and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's so early and it was so bad. It can only go up, but we have a long way to go to say, oh, this is on a successful path right now. It's still at the early stages.
Because the organization hasn't, quote unquote, commented on this because it's still World Series going on. I'm sure there's a little gag order type of thing that has to happen.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea who the final three guys were? And do we have any idea how many candidates there were, since we know AJ was not, because he's hoping to get the Cubs job after Council's
You hear that fake laugh? There was about a dozen ultimately. I do think AJ Ellis was one of those guys at the end, but he actually pulled out for family considerations. Craig Albernaz from Cleveland, absolutely, and he still might be up for the Miami job. So Albernaz, Grady Sizemore was in the mix the whole time. AJ Ellis, I would say those were within that group there that were down towards the end. I'm not positive, and then some of those other names I mentioned earlier. So I think Venable's a good choice. I really do.
You forgot my boy Filthy Phil Nevin there, Jesse. So let's not sell anybody short, okay?
Yeah, I don't know Phil very well. I didn't follow that angle of it, but people say that he'd be a good choice as well.
Yes, agreed. Phil would have been awesome. He's been with young players. But let me the last thing from us, Jesse, before we let you go, is how serious are these Jerry selling the team things that we're hearing about? Because people are giving different reports that he's selling it, he's not selling it, he's moving to Nashville, he wants a new stadium. This, that. But I always say everything is for sale if you get the right price. If the team's worth $1.5 billion and someone comes to him and says, I'll give you $3 billion, guess what he's doing? Right, he's cashing out, right? But yeah, I don't see him doing this unless he gets blown away.
No, I think you're on the right track. The day it broke, someone asked me on the radio, do you think this is happening? I said, do I think he's selling and the team's moving to Nashville? No. Is some morsel of truth in the report? Yeah. Possible? Yes. And I think you're right. We've seen this with the Angels. with the Nationals, you dip your feet in the water a little bit, see what's out there, see what other people value the franchise, and then you pull back. And I think that's what we're going to end up seeing here. I don't think he heard over $2 billion, for example, and so he's looking into it a little bit. How could he not? He's 88. The team's at its worst. You got to you're going to look into it a little bit at least. But I think he's going to pull back and end up keeping it for the time being at least.
Jesse, be careful over there.
Yeah, seriously.
That's how I got distracted because I'm about to get mugged here.
I feel
Oh, this will be on live TV.
Yeah.
That is not the guy
Chicago, you're fine.
That's not the guy that interfered with the ball. I can tell you that. It sounds like him now.
He better not be around. He better not be on the grounds tonight. Like you said, he's getting arrested.
Jesse, go put that guy on the show. He deserves his shining moment, too.
Well, thanks for stopping by, as always, of course, Jesse. Check out all his work on ESPN.com right now. We'll post some of these on Twitter as well. And enjoy the game tonight.
You got it, guys. Be well. Good seeing you.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.